And we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, guys.
Welcome back to another live video. Hope you're all doing all right. For today, well, we're going to get into what we're going to do today in a second. For tomorrow, quick reminder, tomorrow we're doing the open, the second workout, double unders and burpees. So if after today's workout you still have some energy, grab your jump rope, practice your double unders, you need them for tomorrow. We're going to do that at 5 o'clock in the evening, so join us at 5 for the second workout. For today, what do we need?
We need a backpack, or preferably if you have a kettlebell, a heavy kettlebell. Otherwise, load yourself a backpack, make it heavy, also for the strength part and for the workout. And the suspension trainer for the workout, or a chair that you can fit under it, or otherwise a table where you can pull yourself up.
Yes.
And that is it.
By now you probably have tons of pulling variations. You can also pull with elastic bands, a towel, that kind of stuff. So hopefully you have something to pull, and then that's your 20 seconds to get your equipment. In the meantime, we will cue the music. And then we're going to go right into the warm-up. You might already see it on the screen. We're going to do 2 rounds of a back scale, lunges, a hamstring walkout and body rows. 2 of those movements we don't do very frequently, so we're going to talk about them before we actually do them. That's the back scale and the hamstring walkout. The back scale is to practice a good hip hinge pattern and to warm up the hamstrings. What you're going to do, you're going to stand on one leg. It doesn't matter left or right. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hinge at the hip, bringing the chest forward and the back foot up. You need to balance quite a bit. So that's where we're going to go. We're going to go all the way to parallel and come back up. Do another one from this angle. And just to give you another view, we're going to turn by 90 degrees and then do the same thing. What you see is the hip stays parallel to the floor. We're not twisting. We're just bringing the chest down and the back foot up. Kat, of course, has great hamstring flexibility. She's actually able to do this with a completely straight back. For some of you that might look different. That is the back scale. We're going to do 5 on the left, 5 on the right. Lunges are hopefully known, and then let's talk about the hamstring walkout. You're going to lie down on the floor, similar to what would look like a glute bridge. You're going to pull your heels close to the butt cheeks. The hands are on the floor, the shoulders on the floor, the head is on the floor, we're relaxing. We're going to bring the hip off the floor, and now we're going to walk our feet as far out as we can. We're going to be walking on our heels, so the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling, and we're taking very small steps until the legs are nearly extended, and then walk back in. The further out you walk, the harder this whole thing gets. So if you can't reach full extension of the knee, that's fine. Turn around a little bit earlier, especially in the first couple of repetitions. So those are your back scale and the hamstring walkout. We're going to do 2 rounds, 10 back scale, 5 left, 5 right, 10 lunges, 5 left, 5 right, 5 hamstring walkout, and 5 body rows.
The body rows, shall we show?
I hope the body rows. Shall we show them? Let's show them. If you use a suspension trainer or a chair. The chair variation is a bit more complicated, so let's start here. You're going to lie down underneath the chair. Your shoulders are going to be under the chair. We're going to bring the hip off the floor so we have decent weight on the hands, and then pull the chest up towards the floor. That is quite heavy, but it is a short range of motion. That is for your body row on the chair. You can use a table, you can use anything you find, or if you have a suspension trainer, then use the suspension trainer. Good. Are you ready?
Yes.
Good. We're going to move very slow on the back scale and the lunges and the hamstring walkout actually, because all of those require quite some balancing. So we're going to start left foot, right foot, left foot.
Left.
We're going to start on the left foot. That means the left foot stays straight. The right heel is going to move backwards while the chest comes forward. Find good balance, hinge from the hip, feel your hamstrings do the work, and stand back up. What we want is a straight back. So we're not rounding the lower back or the upper back. Keep everything in a straight line. Try to not rotate from the hip. And after 5, we're going to switch to the other side. Preferably we're not holding on to anything. It might be a little bit falling around in the beginning if you're not used to the movement. Might feel like you're losing your balance. That is okay, it's going to get better the more often you practice it. Hopefully by now we're feeling the hamstrings doing most of the work. I can see the feet working really hard as well, trying to find balance. And then after 5 we're going into 5 and 5 lunges. We're going to do them forward, so we're just going to step forward, bring the back knee towards the floor and back up. 5 on each leg. If you want, you can alternate. You can do 5 right, 5 left. That's also fine. And then we're going to lie down on the floor for our hamstring walkout. Like a glute bridge, we're going to pull the heels close to the butt, the hands, the head are on the floor. We're going to bring the hip off the floor and then walking on our heels as far out as we can. Make sure you squeeze your glutes, you squeeze your abs. You might feel pressure on the lower back. That means you're not actually using your glutes. If you feel your lower back, make sure you squeeze the butt cheeks, not the lower back, as you're walking in and out. If you have to rest in between, that's fine. Just drop the hip on the floor, shake it out, then bring the hip up and do it again. They look very, very innocent, but those hamstring walkouts are very, very tough. They get your hamstrings working very, very badly, very quickly. Is it burning?
Yeah. It is burning already. Okay.
Good. And then after 5, we're going to get up and we're going to do 5 very slow body row. What we want to focus on is keeping our body in a straight line and then thinking about the elbow. We want to move the elbow behind the body. So we're not pulling the hand close, we're pulling the elbow back. 5 very slow repetitions. And then we're going to go back to the start. 10 back scales. They should get a little bit easier, at least in terms of mobility. You should be able to hinge a bit more. Make sure you're keeping the chest up. So we're keeping the back straight and the back leg as well. Everything is in a straight line. We're ending up in that T shape. If you're not used to doing back scales regularly, it's a nice way to warm up your hamstrings individually. If you're not used to it, maybe grab a camera, film yourself just to see how that looks. Katia is giving us a perfect back scale. It might look different. You want to check that out on a small video to see if the movement looks actually how it feels. Very good, and then we're going into the 10 lunges. If you want to switch it up, do it a reverse lunge, that's also fine, or just a forward lunge. Any variation is okay. We just want to get the legs going, get some blood into the quads. And then we're already on to the hamstring walkout again. Shoulders on the floor, head is on the floor, the heels come close to the butt, hip comes off, and then we're walking out. Make sure your toes are not falling out. We don't want to have a V shape in the toes. Your feet are parallel, your toes are pointing straight up to the ceiling. Don't allow the legs to rotate out. Keep your toes pointing up to the ceiling. And make sure you squeeze your butt. Otherwise, we're going to work from the lower back, which is going to feel very uncomfortable, especially because we have a lot of hamstring work coming up. It's a beautiful exercise if you have no weight at all and you want to get some sore hamstrings. Just do 3 times 1 minute. with a minute rest, and your hamstrings are going to be sore for days. Then back to the body rows, making it a bit heavier here now, thinking about pulling the elbow behind the body. For 5 easy reps. Good. Now, the quads and the hamstrings should be warm by now. So we're going to go right into a one-legged deadlift. Actually, it's going to be a one-leg Romanian deadlift. We're going to do 6 on the right, 6 on the left, then 8 split squats, 8 on the right, 8 on the left, and then a 30-second windmill. We'll show you in a second what that is. For the one-leg deadlift, you're going to pick up a weight. It can be a kettlebell, it can be a dumbbell, it can be any sort of weight. We're going to pick it up in a conventional deadlift. So 2 hands on the weight. We're going to pick it up in a conventional deadlift. Then from here, we're going to shift our weight on one leg. It's going to be a one-leg deadlift, which is going to look exactly like the forward scale, but now with weight. From here, we're going to hinge, bring the weight close to the toes without rounding the back, and stand back up. You don't need to touch the floor. If you cannot because of mobility, that is fine. We're going to hinge at the hip and stand back up. Thank you. You should feel most of the work coming from your hamstrings. After that, we're going to go into a split squat. The split squat starts in a lunge position. You can hold the weight in a front rack, goblet, anything goes. We're going to come into a lunge position. Now we're going to bring the front knee on top of the toe, and now the back knee towards the floor, and we're going to stand up 8 times on each leg. We're not shifting the weight back, we're not fully extending that front leg. We keep the pressure on, the full foot is on the floor for 8 repetitions. After that, we're going to go into a 30-second windmill. It's a core exercise, but also a mobility one. We're going to lie down on our back. The hands go out left and right into a T shape. We're going to pull the knees for the scaled variation close. We're going to have the knees bent. And what we're going to try is we're going to bring the left knee towards the left side on the floor. So we're going to slowly bring them down. Both hands stay on the floor and bring it back. If you cannot touch the floor, that's fine. But what we want is a controlled movement. So we shouldn't fall. We just want to control the movement as far as we can. To make it a bit harder, extend the legs all the way out and do it again. Thank you. Looking very good. It's going to be 3 rounds. The Romanian deadlift and the split squat we're going to take very slow and easy. And for the windmill, we're just going to try to move for the full 30 seconds. A round should not take more than 3 minutes. What do you think? 3 minutes?
Yeah, it is doable.
I think 3 minutes is good. There's then still plenty of rest for the hamstrings to finish up. So, you good?
Yes.
You don't need crazy heavy weights because we're working with one leg only and because we are working Romanian, meaning we're not going to touch the floor. We're going to keep the tension on. It's a lot of time under tension per leg. So, I'm going to start the clock. 3 rounds of 3 minutes coming up in 10 seconds. The weight starts between the feet. We're going to pick it up in a pretty deadlift, so please make it a nice deadlift from the floor. Back is straight. Then shift the weight to one leg, and then we're going to hinge from the hip. Bring the weight as close to the floor as you can while maintaining a straight back for 6 beautiful one-leg Romanian deadlifts. After 6, we're going to switch to the other side and we do it again. Pay close attention to how it feels. Is it easier? Is it harder? Do you lose balance? One leg work is beautiful to find imbalances. Maybe on the left side it feels more stable, but you can't do as many repetitions. There's a lot of combinations that can happen. So pay close attention to how it feels. That's why moving slow is important. If you're moving too fast, you can't really feel it. After the 6, we're going to bring the kettlebell into a front rack position or a goblet, come into a lunge step, bring the back knee towards the floor for 8 repetitions. Make sure to not lock out the front knee, keep the pressure on the front leg for all 8 repetitions. It helps if you have a kettlebell or something that you can squeeze. It helps if you can squeeze the weight together. That gives you tension on the core and the upper body. So squeeze the kettlebell, squeeze your dumbbell, the wall ball, anything you're using here for all 8 repetitions. And then we're exactly 1:30 in. That's a good time. So we can use the clock wherever you are. The clock is on the screen. Whenever you finish your split squats, look at the clock, take 30 seconds, and then we're gonna do the windmill. Kat, you're gonna start? When?
At 1.
At 1? Good, so 10 seconds before we go. If we're all starting at the 1 minute mark, we're all done at the same time. In 2, 1, let's go. Bringing those legs close to the floor with control. If you feel like you're falling and you have to yank it, then in the next rep, turn around a little bit earlier. Kat is doing this very pretty, locked out knees and pointed toes. The toes are pointing to the ceiling. Very nice gymnastics form. And there's already 10 seconds, only 10 seconds to go. 5, in 3, 2, 1, and relax. 30 seconds rest, and then we do it again. Now, because we gave out most of our equipment, we only had the choice of an 8 kilo or a 20. The 8 kilo is maybe a little bit too light for the deadlift, but the 20 is probably a little bit too heavy here. So that's why we're working with an 8 today, because all of you have our equipment, so we don't have anything left. Round number 2 coming up, picking up that kettlebell, the deadlift, in a pretty deadlift, shifting the weight to 1 foot, and then with a straight back and straight arms, bring it down towards the floor. Keep the back straight. If you want, you can look at your own foot. You're going to see how much your ankle is actually working to stabilize. You will see your feet shifting left and right, trying to find balance in every single repetition. I can see the ankles here working really hard to find the balance. It's also a beautiful movement to do barefoot, and you can actually see your toes doing all the work. Very good. A minute for those 12 reps. That's very, very slow. That's very good. Same thing on the split squats. We don't need to rush it. You can move slow. The slower you go, the more work you're actually doing with those 8 repetitions. Make sure you're not locking out that front knee. That lockout is kind of a rest position. We don't want to rest. We want to keep working here. And remember to squeeze that weight together. That gives you tension on the upper body. Gonna activate the obliques and the abs. And then we have 15 seconds rest before we go back into the windmill, lying back on the floor. The shoulders go to the floor, the head goes to the floor, the arms go out into a T. And then from that T, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Slow and control. Don't allow yourself to fall. Keep the tension on, really control the movement, and then pull back up. Don't throw it back up, slowly pull. Two, 1, and relax. Good. That's round 2 done. And then we have round 3 coming up. Are the hamstrings getting warm?
Yeah. The split squats are the hardest.
Oh, really?
Glutes.
Well then, have fun. Round number 3 coming up. We're gonna do the whole thing one more time. Remember to move slow. You can take a lot of time for each repetition. It's not a race yet, so take your time. There we go. Starting with a pretty deadlift. Shift the weight to one leg. And then start hinging slow. Those are very, very pretty reps. I'm curious if we're going to see some videos of you guys doing it at home, if the reps look the same. Hopefully yes. If not, a matter of hamstring flexibility and stability, of course. Oh, the left seems to be a bit more shaky. The arms are straight, the back is straight. We're not twisting from the hip stays parallel to the floor. And then into the split squats already again. Keeping the tension on, moving slow. And that is it. You've got 15 seconds again. Timing is good in every round before we go into 30 seconds of the windmill. Head goes to the floor, arms go out in a T, knees come up, and then we're bringing our legs down towards the floor. Very slow and controlled. We're not in a rush. 5 repetitions in the 30 seconds is more than enough. Very good, you can see the hands stay on the floor. We need them to balance it out. And then we're done in 3, 2, 1. Relax, very good. In case you at home started a bit later, we're going to keep the clock running for another 20 seconds so you can finish your round. Good. Are the hamstrings warm?
Yes.
I think they are. I think the legs are good to go now. If you're now thinking we're done, you are mistaken. We still have some work coming up. We're going to go from one leg movement very, very slow for strength to 2 leg movements a little bit faster. We're going to use the same weights or similar weights, but we're going to start moving a little bit quicker. We're going to have a workout 3 rounds per time of 20 kettlebell swing, 15 kettlebell deadlift, and then 10 body rows. Again, if you don't have a kettlebell, don't despair. You can do this with pretty much anything, except for the swings. I think with a wall ball, that's the only thing you can't really use for swings. So let's talk about the swings. Depending on the weight that you have, we're either going to work Russian or American. If you have a very light kettlebell, then we're going to swing American. Can you show us how that works? You're going to start with the kettlebell between the feet. Oh, you want to use the heavy one? Okay.
I'll decide during the warm-up.
We'll see how that goes. Good. Kettlebell starts between the feet. We're going to pick it up in a pretty deadlift. This is your starting position. From here, we're going to bend the knee slightly and we're going to hinge from the hip. That allows us to extend knees and hip aggressively. If you do that just once, the kettlebell starts to move forward a little bit. So just give it a small swing. And if you do that repeatedly, the kettlebell starts coming up higher and higher. So you're going to start with a small swing and then we're going to start swinging. For the American swing, if you consider your weight light, we're going to swing all the way up until the kettlebell is straight above the head. The elbow, the wrist, the shoulder, the hip and the ankle are all in line. That's for your American swing. If you have a heavy kettlebell that you cannot swing overhead, or you can't swing overhead because of a shoulder injury or similar, we're going to go for Russian swing. Russian means just to eye height. If you can see underneath the kettlebell, you're good to go. So we're just going to swing that kettlebell to above the eyes and then we're good to go. Few common errors in the kettlebell swing, you don't need to show them, is to round the back on the way down or to follow the kettlebell too far down. That's common mistakes on the way down. Common mistakes on the way up would be looking at the kettlebell and kind of overreaching while looking up. After your 20 kettlebell swings, we're going to go into 15 kettlebell deadlifts. So we're going to start in the same position. And then the kettlebell deadlift, kettlebell comes from the floor to the hip. That's 1 and back down. Make sure we're working with a straight back. We're hinging from the hip, all the work is coming from the hamstrings. Then we're going to give the hammies a small pause by going for 10 heavy body rows. Use your suspension trainer, use your chair, use your table, use your heavy band. 10 pulls. So, depending on the weight, we might want to go overhead, or we might want to go just Russian. Oh, you made a decision?
I will remove the 8 kilos so that I will not be
tempted
to take it.
Very good, very good. Are you going to swing Russian or American?
What do you think, coach?
I would say go Russian.
Russian.
Allows you to move a bit quicker.
Okay, otherwise I would just break them 10 and 10.
Or you break them 10 and 10, also a good option. So depending on the weight you have available at home, if it's heavy, it's going to take you a little bit longer. If it's light, then try to go unbroken, try to not let go. I'm guessing this is going to get very grippy because you're going to be holding on to that kettlebell for quite a while. It's 3 rounds, 2 to 2.5 minutes per round should be doable. So we should be able to finish this whole thing somewhere between 6-7 minutes. So we're going to give you a time cap of 8. And with that, hopefully, we're going to be able to finish the whole thing. Then, as always, let us know in the comments when you are done. We now have all the comments here in real time, so we actually see them right away. So I'm curious when the first scores are going to come in, and of course, with what weight. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, good. Then, DJ, we want to have some upbeat music. Ladies and gentlemen, ready with your kettlebell, dumbbell, whatever it is. Yes, Martin, 20 is heavy enough. We're good to go with this. Oh, I love it. Suddenly people are commenting. Just have to call it out. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we are good to go. We're starting in 10 seconds. In 5, in 3, 2, 1. Start with a pretty deadlift and then into the first swing. Big question is, can you hold on to that kettlebell without letting go in each set? The grip's gonna get quite challenged, but of course most of the work is coming from the hamstrings, from the glutes, all hip-driven movement. After the 20 kettlebell swings, we're gonna go into the 15 deadlifts. Good. Remember to move pretty. Just because we're moving fast doesn't mean we're suddenly starting to round the back or we're starting to squat our deadlift. Keep the hip high, keep the back straight, touch the kettlebell on the floor. Don't bounce it, your downstairs neighbors might not appreciate that. For 15 repetitions each round. Our cat is putting on a very, very fast pace here.
I will regret it.
The first round is always tricky. The first round always feels light. On to the 10 body rows. That's easy work. That's the only upper body work. But of course the grip is still working hard. Forearms might be pumping after this one. 1:45 on the clock and we're already starting the second round. Remember to start your swing with a pretty deadlift. Don't just rip it off the floor. Give it a small swing and then it's time to go. 20 kettlebell swings for the second round. Let's see if we can go unbroken again. Remember to keep your back straight. Don't allow the back to round. Don't follow the kettlebell down. Don't look at the kettlebell. Try to keep your heels on the floor. Don't let the kettlebell pull you onto your toes. Oh, very good. 5 to go. Oh no, we have to break already. That second round gets tricky. Starting again. Nice with a pretty deadlift. And then last 5 here for cat. Good, and then we're in for 15 deadlifts. Keeping the back straight, don't allow the back to take over the work. Make sure you bring the hip forward as we're locking out. Really squeeze the glutes on top of every rep. Feet are flat on the floor, arms are long. Save your arms for the pulling we still have to do with the body rows. And we are finishing up round number 2 here, slowing down a little bit. We have the 4-minute mark coming up. We've got one more round to go. There we go, starting with a pretty deadlift again. Full grip on that kettlebell. Small swing to get a little bit of momentum going. And then with long arms, swinging all the way overhead. Good job, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it going here, keep it going. Shake out your arms, especially in the last round. Shake it out quickly. Step back to the kettlebell. Do it again. Yes, the forearms are pumping. Maybe we'll stretch them out later on. For now, it's time to get your hands on the weight and keep moving. Finish the workout. Good straight arms, forward, long arms. Your arms are like ropes. All the power in the legs. And then it's a sprint to the finish line with the last 15 deadlifts. Very good job, very good job. I can hear some heavy breathing here. This is not just hamstrings and grip, this is also endurance. And then we're on to the last 10 body rows here. And there it is in 5 minutes 50. We have a finisher here in just under 6 minutes with a 20 kilo kettlebell and a heavy body row. It looked like fun. It's a lot of grip. The weight feels kind of light because, well, at least for the legs it feels light. For the arms it isn't. You're holding on to something for the entire time. And we've got the last 90 seconds coming up before we're finishing up this workout. So maybe we want to do some forearm stretching. 90 seconds on the clock. Keep moving fast and don't allow your technique to break down. We want to keep the back straight in the deadlift and the kettlebell swings. Make sure everything is coming from the leg. Oh, 5:20 for Martin. God, you were slow. 5:50 for you. We've got the last minute on the clock. We're 7 minutes down. We have 1 minute to go before time cap. Good. Keep it going. If your grip gives up, put the kettlebell down, shake it out real quick, take a deep breath, pick it back up. Your grip recovers rather quickly for a lightweight like this. It just takes 3-4 seconds. Shake it out and then do it again. 30 seconds to go. last 15. Hopefully everybody's coming to an end by now. 10 seconds to go. And then we're done in 5, in 3, 2, 1, and time. Very good job, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know in the comments how it went. Under 6 for Carla as well.
Nice, Carla.
Very, very quick. You will feel your hamstrings tomorrow and, well, probably the glutes and maybe your grip. We'll see about that. So,
yeah.
with that, I think we're going to move on to stretching, yes?
Yeah.
Good, I'll
I
leave
had
that
some
to
time
you.
to recover, so.
Yes, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a towel, whatever you need. Get rid of that kettlebell, you probably can't see it anymore.
No, we are going to need the kettlebell for the hamstrings.
Oh.
We have hamstring stretches coming on, so we're going to do Jefferson curls. More kettlebell to go, but first we're going to start with stretching the forearms. In the end, we're going for the Jefferson curls. So we're starting on the floor. I'm pretty sure you want to relax a little bit your forearms, so you're going to kneel down and you're going to put your hands in the opposite direction, so toes are facing towards your knees, and then if possible you want to sit down on your heels. I see Peter 620. How much weight? Is he right? 620, very good, Peter. And in this position you should feel a good stretch on your forearms, which is now, at least for me, is pumping from the kettlebell swings. You can give your forearms a little bit of rest, so you're bringing yourself again forward, and then we're coming again, sitting down on our heels. Now push it a little bit more than the previous time. The more you push your body backwards, the more you feel your forearms stretching. And now we'll give the forearms a break and we're going to focus on the hamstring stretches as written on the screen. So now you are sitting again on your heels. You're going to put your left leg in front of you, completely straight knee, and you're going to try to grab your toes with your right leg. If this is easy, you can also grab your toes with both hands. You want the toes to be facing towards the ceiling so that you feel a better stretch on your hamstring from your left leg. And you want to bring the chest as close to the floor as possible. The back doesn't matter if it's rounded, the focus is on the left hamstring, so keep your leg completely straight. If you cannot touch the toes, you can grab yourself from your left calf. Slowly, slowly, we're bringing again the leg in front of you. You're going to switch now. Bring the left knee on the floor. Bring the right leg in front of you, completely straight knee if possible, and sit down. Sit exactly on your left ankle, left heel, and then you want to grab your toes, if possible, with both arms. The toes keep staring, keep facing the ceiling. The knee is staying straight, so you should feel a good stretch on your hamstring, the leg that is in front of you. As it gets easier, push your chest closer and closer towards the floor. And we're going to stay here in this position. Now we're going to bring last exercise on the floor. We're going to bring both feet in front of you. The toes are keep facing on the ceiling, and if possible bring them towards yourself so the heels can also come a little bit above the floor, and then touch your feet and try to bring the chest close to your knees. You cannot, if you don't have the flexibility to grab your toes, you can grab yourself from the calves, and doing exactly the same thing, bring the chest close to your knees. Now, if you cannot touch the toes, something to work on for your hamstring flexibility is the Jefferson curls. So with having some weight, preferably a heavy kettlebell, so you can grab the kettlebell or the backpack that you used previously for the workout, and you're going to stand on a chair, on a couch, something that is steady and that can hold you. And we're going to grab the kettlebell with a nice deadlift. Then you're going to bring the chin towards the chest, and slowly you're going to round your back, starting rounding from the upper back, and then the whole back follows. The arms are hanging completely straight, knees are almost locked, not necessarily completely locked, depending the weight that you are carrying, and you want to go slowly down, if possible with the kettlebell going underneath your toes, so the weight that you are carrying is holding you, is pushing you down. And here, if you can lock your knees so that you feel a very good stretch on your hamstrings, both of them, and hold the weight in this position. And slowly, slowly, we're going to bring the kettlebell all the way up, the same way that you brought it down. And 2 more times. We're going again, bringing the chin towards the chest, rounding your back, bringing the kettlebell underneath your toes if possible, staying in the lowest position that you can go. Stay there for 5 seconds. And slowly, slowly, bringing the kettlebell up. And 1 more time, bringing the chin towards the chest. Arms are hanging straight, rounding your back, bringing the kettlebell to the lowest position that you can, and hold this for 5 to 10 seconds. If possible, knees completely straight. And slowly, slowly, come again, back up, and then you can bring the kettlebell down, shake your legs. The hamstrings work hard today, also your grip. So I think we are done, so we can close this session. Please post your score so that we can see how you did, if you liked it, what was harder, what was it more forearm, was it more hamstrings, pulling, what was the hardest that you did. And we also want to know exactly your time and the weight that you used as well. Something else?
Just as a reminder, tomorrow we're going to do the open workout, the double on the burpee variation. So if you have a jump rope, please join us. If not, we're going to find a variation that you can still do the workout. Now, we are getting a lot of positive feedback about those sessions. We're having a lot of people following those regularly, but we haven't heard a lot of constructive feedback recently. So if you have things you want to get off your chest, things you want to see more, less, faster, slower, heavier, lighter, anything, please talk to us. Just drop us a message. You can either contact the coaches or us on Facebook. Anytime you think this could go better, please let us know. We're going to do this for at least another 2 weeks until the government kind of announces new regulations. So the more things we can improve, the better. So please let us know. And that's, I think, the end for today. We're going to close, as always, with a triple clap.
Yes.
On 1, 2, 3. Enjoy your evening.
See you guys.